This is listener-supported radio, CKCU 93.1 FM.
Good morning. It is Monday, the 11th of December, and I'm your host here from Monday Special Blend, Nathaniel Newton, broadcasting to you live from Carleton University on the unceded traditional territory of the Algonquin Nation in Ottawa. Thank you for being here with us today. It's been an interesting week. Lots of fun things happened. Went to the National Gallery again because they just keep having amazing events. They had the Governor General's Art Awards this week, and I got to walk around and take a look at some of the stuff, watch the award ceremony, as well as go through the gallery and take a look at all the different exhibits by the different winners. I think there was 8 of them, to be honest. Later on today, we're going to have Barb, as usual, on interviewing, let's see, who do we have here with? Lena Brody and the play Benevolence at the GCTC. That should be interesting. Going on with what happened last week, I wonder if you are aware that if you go to the ckcufm.com website and click on events, there's a whole calendar of things coming up. Like, for example, on Thursday, we have Spark the Stage, Django Libre at Spark Beer and Pizza at 702 Somerset Street West. The price of $15 or pay what you can. It says, join us for an evening with Ottawa's top swing jazz outfit, Django Libre. Django Libre combines their love for the music of Django Reinhardt with blues, country, and roots. And then, on the 15th, on Friday, at the Rainbow Bistro at 76 Murray Street in the Byward Market, they have the Power Goats with Hot Jupiter, the 10th annual fundraiser to support the Ottawa Snowsuit Fund. Price for that is $10 in advance and $15 at the door. And then on Sunday at the National Arts Center on Elgin Street, there is Capital Sessions. We're honored to have DJ Medicine Man from Toronto dropping the best global house music for the whole 2 hours. And dancer Olena Sikkuark, I believe, will be leading a 30-minute house dance class from 1:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. That's at 1. So the music is at 1:30 and the dance class is at 1:30 to 2:30. Come listen to great music. If you want to, you can pick up some dance moves or just do you and vibe out in our awesome community of househeads. So that is a free show. That's amazing. I think I'm going to try to get out there and take a look at that, because that sounds like great fun. It says, Olena Sikkuark is a Ukrainian artist, dancer, and choreographer who has spent the last 10 years working, performing, and teaching in China. She's recently moved to Ottawa and is a house dance instructor for Flava Factory Dance Studio. She's been dancing her whole life and never stops learning and growing as an artist. Alongside working full-time as a performing artist, she honed her art and studied with various dancers such as Chris Martin, Keon Murray, Kinjaz, Hiro, Sean Evanstero, Jillian Myers, Edison Guia. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Pronunciation has never been my strong suit, unfortunately, when it comes to different names. And then it says, Richard Martin, aka DJ Medicine Man, has been a pioneer in the ethno-electric scene for over 20 years, exploring the intersection of traditional sounds with progressive beats. He's an ambassador for cultural fusion on and off the dance floor, honoring the journey of understanding that the world of music fosters in our souls. His legendary radio show, No Man's Land, on CIUT 98 89.9 FM, 89.5 FM, is considered to be one of the best of its kind in the commitment to broadening connection and awareness across the airwaves. Again, that's a free show at 1:30 p.m. at the National Arts Center. So I was going through this event list last week on Thursday at something like 12 in the morning. I was supposed to be sleeping, but I was up too late because I wasn't feeling all that well. And I found out that the Tin Constellations were doing a show at Redbird. If you remember, I recently did a recording of a show by the Magpies at the Redbird. That's on Bank Street. What's the address of Redbird off the top of my head? Redbird on Bank Street. Just going to Google that real fast. 1165 Bank Street. That's in Old Ottawa South, just south of the Lead, near Glen and zooming in here. Glen and Grove Avenue. So that's just up the road from the Rideau River. But the Tin Constellations did a EP release party for their new album, Something About Birds. I'm just going to play a bit from that party because I did go and I did record the whole show. Of course, I'm not going to play the whole show here. I haven't even given a video yet to the Tin Constellations. I'm going to do that tomorrow. But I'm just going to play a little bit of it just so you can see what it's like to go to a live show at Redbird. It's amazing. I definitely recommend it if you ever have the opportunity. How you doing, Barb?
I'm doing great, thanks. A bit tired today.
Yeah, my sleep schedule's all over the place. I was up late and only had a couple hours of sleep and then came in.
Yeah, I've had a weekend like that too, so I need rest. You probably do too.
Yeah, I usually sleep after the show.
Oh, good. Yeah. I've got a whole plan of things today that I don't think I can rest, and I've got play reading tonight. I belong to a group where we read each other's plays, and they're actors, writers, playwrights, directors, and they're from all over America, Canada, and I don't know where else. So, the translator I'm interviewing. Translator of the play of the Jesus and very interesting play.
It seems like no matter what I eat in the morning, it doesn't stay with me.
You mean, it doesn't satisfy you, still hungry?
No, I'm indigested. Indigested.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. Do you have bread? Because bread...
I had oatmeal this morning.
Yeah.
Bread doesn't...
It doesn't matter.
Bread doesn't... wheat doesn't agree with me very much.
Yeah. It's like a lump in your tummy. You have bread.
Yeah, a lump in it. Yeah, that is.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't like bread that much. I'm lucky. I have a friend who makes a lot of bread and gives me some, so it's different a bit than bread that's from a store because it doesn't have any additives or. But I still only have one slice a day. I don't have any more. That might even be too much. So what do we have on then? How have you arranged it?
Well, next, after this, I was going to talk a bit about... I mentioned that happened. If you want to talk, go through the page, that'd be great. Cool.
Okay.
And then I wanted to play the 2 minute, or no, the 4.5 minute long clip that I got with Christine.
Okay. In my fraction of thanks very much. Oh, I'm so
I didn't bring it.
Do you know, I had this gift from an Inuit artist where through translator he gave me a story. And stories are gifts. And I thought I had my recorder running and I didn't, it wasn't recorded, so I thought it was supposed to be a gift, so I should not have really recorded it. Which is true, spiritually that's true. Where am I? Which is left and which is right? Doesn't matter for these, I think.
Well,
some have it on it.
I'm going to play two songs from the... Play a little bit more of this and then I'm going to come back in. Man, that sounds good. What do you think? Sound good?
Pardon?
This is my recording.
Oh, wow.
I recorded this on Saturday.
Oh, good. It's clear. It is very clear.
Along with how, of course, it has a full video to go with it.
Right.
That was an excerpt from the Tin Constellations live at Redbird here in Ottawa. And to think, I would never have known that was going to happen if I hadn't been up late at night browsing through the CKCU FM website. If you go take a look at the playlist page from today, you'll be able to see a link to a video that has not been published yet of the recording that we just listened to, as well as the link to the Tin Constellations on Instagram and their link tree and all of the information you need to be able to get a hold of them, to buy their album and everything like that. Definitely go out and give them some support and maybe tell them you heard about them on Monday Special Blend. I know they'll be happy to hear that. They're so happy with the video. They're going to be releasing some videos up on their YouTube channel. We're going to get some people to follow their YouTube channel. I'll have to put a link to it on the page when I have a second here. Well, it's not too cold today. It's kind of like December. It's a little bit like December. There's still snow out there, but it's a little bit misty. We're very fortunate here in Ottawa. We missed most of that storm that went through the United States over the last day or so. It's actually still hitting on the East Coast, as it reminds me of a little bit of a derecho. It's kind of mostly over out on the Atlantic side now. It's about to hit Halifax area. It's still in Montreal and Quebec, but my sister sent me a video from Tennessee where a bunch of tornadoes went through and hit a fossil fuel processing plant, and the whole thing exploded. It's pretty scary, to be honest. It was unbelievable, just the amount of damage that the storm has done, and definitely seeing a lot more storms now with the global climate heating up, and it's only the beginning, in my opinion. And I believe that's the scientific consensus as well. We'll see. We'll keep you posted as to what's going on with that, because that's definitely something that interests me a lot. It's something I've been watching for over a decade now. Anyways, I have Barb here. Barb has come into the studio. Thank you for showing up, Barb. You're always here. It's always great to see you. How have you been this week?
Great, thank you. It's been a wonderful week.
We went to the Governor General Arts Awards last week. It was so cool to see all the people. Did you get a chance to walk through the displays a little bit yet?
I did, and this is the 15th Governor General's Awards in Visual and Media Arts, and the National Gallery of Canada, in collaboration with the Canada Council of the Arts, are exhibiting installation by 8 winners. So this is a very prestigious award, and the way it was curated this year is it's spread out through the gallery, which is wonderful because it forces you to spend time in the gallery like a treasure hunt. And they've actually put the piece from the winner with another piece that sort of creates a conversation. So if you go and look at these and look at the winner's work and then the piece that is partnered with it, it gives you pause and time to really think about the work. So I'll speak very briefly about the 8 winners. Grace Nickel from Winnipeg has very unusual work. It's like pieces of wood lying down, almost tomb-like, with beads of clay that are attached to the wall like lifelines. And it's really quite expressive, and there are shadows from the beads on the wall. And it's called Powers of Lifelines, and it really is quite creative and imaginative. So Dave Garneau is from Regina, Saskatchewan, and his 15 works on view combine simplicity of still life painting with the conceptual complexity of history painting, suggesting the tension between traditional Indigenous knowledge and contemporary survival. Evergon. Now, Evergon is a gay politico, eroticist, artist, teacher, activist, and cultural icon. He's recognized as being the avant-garde of experimentation in the field of photography and lens-based mediums, with a career spanning more than 50 years, using the large format Polaroid camera at the Boston Museum of Fine Arts. Now, that is not in use anymore. After I spoke with Evergon, he has his work called Caravaggio, and the chowder maker is from another artist, which gives the conversation for Evergon's Caravaggio. He spoke about his beginnings, and he had to thank his sugar daddy at the very beginning for his first supporter, and thanks to his mother, and he's on his 3rd husband. Just to give you a little background of Evergon, when he went for his first job, he didn't really want the job at the interview, so he said to his mother, if I wear a dress, then I won't get the job. Well, Evergon did wear the dress, and Evergon did get the job. Fastworm's another winner. They were here in Ottawa and formed in '79, and their mixed media installation is called Volcano Lover 2023, and it's about word building, procreative power of the volcano. Germaine Koch, she worked at the National Gallery of Canada, so she's honoured to be returning back, and her piece, HMH Boothie 2017, resembles a telephone booth once common to urban landscapes and serves as a community platform for exchange. And this work is set in a very visual place, so it causes a lot of conversation. Shannon Walsh is from Vancouver, filmmaker and interdisciplinary scholar who is known for emphasizing marginalized voices and stories on the front line of vital contemporary issues. We have 2 more to speak about. One is Tom Whiten from Toronto. You sort of gasp when you look at the installation of this. It's a circle of precious metals, very important, cobalt blue, and it's cobalt blue broken grass. And blue of cobalt, of course, is used in many medical practices, and it's like a barrier between physical and spiritual, and it's a natural material, and it's considered cobalt as a protection. So his piece is called Court 2023. It reflects on the role of glass in shaping our perceptions of contemporary life. It's such an eye-popping colour, this cobalt blue, and the way it is curated with another piece causes you to almost gasp. Nettie Wild, the last person I'm going to speak about, is from Vancouver, and she has works that also make you stand and watch. She is a filmmaker and she collaborates with others like the cinematographer Scott Smith. They look at the annual herring migration, and Uninterrupted Eyes 207 is a site-specific cinematic spectacle using projection mapping. Now, this really is quite is something for one of the pieces that we saw. It talks about lonely outliers. It's a visual note for risks worth taking, an art to play in the times we're living right now. So I do suggest you go to the National Gallery and spend time with these artists and search through them as a treasure hunt in the gallery and look for the piece that's put near them as the conversation piece to make you really think about art, which is just wonderful. It takes you away from everyday problems and...
Oh, I definitely recommend it. And did you know that on Thursdays the gallery has a free day? So if you want to go after 5, you can see the gallery. You can go through the whole thing and look at the art for free without having to pay. It's wonderful for people that maybe just don't have the money to buy a ticket for stuff like that. And I know money's tight for a lot of people right now.
I think some of the special exhibitions you may have to pay, but the main gallery is free.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the gallery, I try to go in and interview people that are either the curators or the artists themselves, and I tend to have maybe a couple of weeks it takes me to get the video done. Like, I've got a whole bunch of video of the Governor General's Art Awards that we just talked about that I haven't finished editing yet. But last week and the week before we mentioned the exhibition of Nick Sikkuark and the curator Christine Lalonde, and I actually did get an interview and I finally finished editing it. So I'm going to play a little bit of that. Actually, I'm going to play the whole thing right now because it's only about 4 or 5 minutes long, and we'll be right back. You're listening to Monday Special Blend with Nathaniel Nugent and Barb Gray on CKCU FM 93.1 in Ottawa.
The mighty 93.
National Gallery again with curator Christine Lalonde.
You could mention the flyer to pick up
there's this really amazing
with a map to show you where to find them.
I'm really pleased with how if you look at the video of this, I went through and I got a whole bunch of little short clips of the artwork. And when she's talking about teeth or mouths, it cuts over to it. When she's talking about strings, it overlays it with strings, the part with the strings. And the imagination, when she talks about worms, it has a video of the worms. Like, I'm very happy with the way it turned out.
And his work has enormous cultural significance and value for the knowledge he holds.
It's the sculptures that affected me more than anything.
On top of all of that, if that wasn't already an extraordinary...
I can still recall them.
Means
and it's not very often I can recall things because I see so much.
Yeah.
Well, we all do.
At an emotional level with his pieces. We recognize...
So it's caused havoc and destruction, that storm?
That these works by Greek artists related to...
Because I was with my daughter and granddaughter for the weekend.
On the land. As well as across
I didn't even hear about it.
Even overseas. He was pretty...
Every flash
so it's electrical?
Yeah, that's electrical.
Gnashing teeth. And we're a little bit... have a sense of aversion and repulsion.
Oh, yeah.
His hairy worms, or his worms with their hairy tongues, for example. But the longer you look at it, it's
We're expecting them to call in around...
Empathize.
They're calling, not us calling them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, let's hope she's going to call. I really like the words for some reason. They really speak to me. I haven't... They didn't... well, they said she was going to call. What is the date today? The 10th? No, it's 11th. It's 11th. So I have to turn this around once more.
Well, that transition worked perfectly.
That was a very good interview.
That was the last one, and she was already late, so I was in a rush to get just a quick chat. There were a bunch more things I could have said.
Yeah.
I was ready for good. So many more things.
Yeah, very good, Nathaniel.
Thank you. I'm working on getting more comfortable with interviewing. Take some practice.
Yeah, I shouldn't have been so afraid. When I was up talking to him, I thought, oh goody, if that's so we can go on.
Hello. Hi, Leona. This is Nathaniel from Monday Special Blend. We're currently playing a song, and we'll be ready to talk to you in about 5 minutes. How's that sound? Yes, please. I'm going to bring you into the board so you'll be able to hear the song, and once the song ends, we'll have Barb on the line to talk with you. So you'll be able to hear it, but no one will hear you until we say hi. This is Raphael again.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure what album this is, but the song is Undertow. Reminds me a little bit of, I don't know if you've heard of the show, Westworld.
I've heard of it. Do you know you should watch Pinky Blinders?
Pinky Blinders.
Pinky Blinders. And it's based on a true story in Britain. Peaky Blinders.
Yeah, I got it here.
And the music from that is incredible. Just the music alone, but the way it's filmed and the atmosphere is just beyond it. It can be a bit violent in parts, but it's something that stays with you forever. It's so well done. It's British, and the actor's so good. Apparently, he's been given a lead role in something recently. But it's amazing. If you Google Peaky Blinders, it'll tell you a little bit about them.
Yeah, I went and I added it to my want-to-watch list on Google.
Like you'll want to just sit there and just watch it till right through the whole thing. You want to do a binge with it. I did. It was just. It gets a bit funny in some parts, but it's normal with series because sometimes have to do bits of fillers, but it's very good.
I'm copying a bunch of stuff from the GTC website into the playlist here. So they'll have all the show times, the stuff.
Most plays begin at 7:30, but this one begins at 8, and I couldn't find it anywhere on the website. And I told them because we got there just after 7, expecting it to begin at 7:30, but.
I am definitely going to do what I can to get Raphael to do a recording here at the studio that I can record with my video camera. And I'm definitely there's a few artists I've really enjoyed capturing on video, and I'm really getting hooked on it.
Good. It's a very soothing kind of music. Reminds me of a fellow that went on the Camino Real. Camino in Spain, the walk, and he was dying, but he took his violin and played it in all the churches on the way, and it just stays with you. If you look that up, violin player on the Camino, and hear his haunting music, my word.
This is almost done.
Okay. On the line, I have Leona Brock, and Leona is a translator and playwright, and is actually the translator for the play at the Great Canadian Theatre Company called Benevolence. And this runs until the 17th of December, curtain time 8 p.m. And it's a 2-time Governor General's Award winner for drama by the playwright Fanny Britt. Now, the director, Eric Coates, who was at the Great Canadian Theatre as the artistic director for some time, a number of years, is back to direct this play. So Leona, my first question is, have you seen the play under the direction of Eric Coates?
I have, and it's a funny old name. It's Leona, it rhymes with Madonna. I actually just made that my Instagram handle because, it's just cruel to give to people. But it's Leona Brody. And yes, Eric is a friend and a very old collaborator. I don't mean he's very old, I mean our collaboration is. And I was able to see the play at opening and also to see a dress rehearsal, and I think he's just done a fantastic job with it.
So, tell me what you think about this play, Benevolence. It's a very interesting play.
Yeah. I mean, as a translator, you tend to, as a translator of plays, you are going to be spending a couple years of your life anyway with the development and the production. So you don't throw yourself into that unless it's something that's going to reward that level of attention for a couple of years. What can I tell you about the play? You mentioned that it's a Governor General's Award winner, but more importantly, it is this amazing mix, I think, of very artistically rich in terms of Fanny's use of language, her themes could come from, one of the classic Russians, a Chekhov. It's something that Chekhov would be proud to have written, but she's got, she really is talking to people. She's not talking about us. She's really talking about regular people, regular lives, into which the sort of wrench of tragedy is thrown, and they deal with it in a way that, through comedy. They deal with their pain through laughter, or at least Gilles, the main character, does. And he reaches right out into the audience and says, okay, what do you think about that?
Yes, the protagonist breaks the fourth wall constantly.
Yeah, we said that we told the actor, because I've seen a couple of productions now, that you're not going to get your scene partner until the last possible moment, because your main scene partner is the audience, and they're going to show up and they're going to be different every night, and you're going to be talking to the people on stage, but at times you're going to be talking directly to us.
Yes, and he really is like a defense attorney and a persecuting attorney at the same time.
That's very, very astute. Yeah, that is exactly what I said to Eric at one point. And he doesn't need me to tell him what the play's about. He's a terrific director. But yeah, it's very much Gilles presenting his case. And is he the prosecutor? Is he defending himself? It's hard to say. He is unburdening himself. He is asking us to bear witness. And ultimately, he lets us decide.
Yes. Do you think he assuages his conscience without doing anything?
Well, there's some of that, but he's also implicating himself. He's throwing himself in the worst possible light, and occasionally he says something about himself that we think, oh, you're not that bad, but then something comes out and we think, oh, well, that throws the worst light on things. It's like all of us, right? We spend a lot of our lives kind of covering up and excusing and letting ourselves off the hook, and Gilles is very much putting himself on the hook. And by the end of the play, we find out why.
Right. So he's an outsider in many ways, like a lot of us feel sometimes. And you wonder, is it his choice? And yes, probably it is. Or choice of the others. So it's being out of balance.
Yeah. I mean, it's not just a story. It's not Richard III going, look how terrible I've been, ha ha ha. They are implicated with each other. The people in this story, they are very close to each other. They have history that goes a long way back, and sometimes it's hard to say how things started, and who has carried it further and who has tried to fix the situation. That's the interesting thing about drama, right? That's why, as Sarah says, this is a play that will provoke conversation.
It's interesting, too, that a lot of artists feel as if they're on the outside of society, but when an actor is performing, they cannot be on the outside. They're definitely within the play.
That's very, very true, and that is the unusual nature of the task for the actor playing Gilles, is that, you know, you can think, well, this isn't the first play where someone talks to the audience. Why is this so challenging? But it really is. Gilles, from moment to moment, can be deeply invested in the emotion of a scene and then pull out, a bit like Fleabag, I think. Who can be right in the middle of the deepest mess, and who can turn to, in the filmed version of the play, the camera. This fabulous Phoebe Waller-Bridge success from a few years ago. There's that sense of, yes, she is alienating herself, or she is showing her alienation, but she's showing it by being really close and available with us. So it takes a while to realize, oh, this isn't someone who's super in touch with herself. It's someone who's really out of touch with herself.
Yes, and this play, it deals with ghosts of brothers, the father peering over his shoulder, the mother asking the state of his soul, and they're all haunted by the dead boy. And it sort of, there's no time when you are haunted by a tragedy like this. It just traverses time.
That's very true, and it's interesting. I mean, it's a haunting. Gilles' mother is haunted by both the dead and the living, as it turns out. The son who is no longer with her but is still alive, and we'll in the play we find out how that happens. But also there's, as Gilles says, the tick, tick, tick of a ventilator for a boy who's still living. But in the play, they all alternate between treating him as if he's dead and treating him as if he's alive, and then they catch themselves. And that's what we do with someone who is gravely ill. We sometimes find ourselves talking in the past tense, and then we feel horrible about it.
Yes, yes. The title Benevolence means a disposition to do good or an act of kindness. And of course, sometimes we have difficulty in being good.
Yeah.
And this is, I think, illustrated in this play. About what?
I'm so sorry. Can you repeat that last bit? I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, that's much better. Thank you.
Yes, sorry. I mean, the title Benevolence is a disposition to do good, an act of kindness, and there's difficulty often in doing good.
Oh, doing good is the hardest thing in the world. I'm citing other sources, but there's a series called The Good Place by Mike Schur that is very much about that we are in a complicated old modern world where it's not always easy to even figure out what the best thing is to do. You know, do you buy organic from Peru grapes, or do you buy local grapes that have pesticides all over them? It's not obvious. Gilles is in situations where his sense of self-preservation, which is not ill-founded, is sometimes at odds with what his heart is telling him he should be doing.
Yes.
And sometimes it's very simple, but he just can't bring himself to do it. The title, by the way, Benevolence in French, can also be translated as goodwill. But I had to make a choice, and Benevolence seemed to me to be the right one, for the reasons you say. It's a little less direct than goodwill, and it lets us figure out. I think part of the audience throughout the play is going, what is the relationship of benevolence to this? And then by the end, I think you kind of go, oh, okay. And just to be clear, the town that they all come from is called Benevolence.
Yes, it adds another dimension.
What's that?
It adds another dimension.
Yeah, exactly. And in Quebec, you get the most extraordinary, sometimes on-the-nose names. I also translate the playwright David Paquette, who comes from a town called Guardian Angel.
Yes, so the question is too, what is good?
Yeah.
I think it's a very personal thing. So, I'd like to thank you so much, Leona Brody. I apologise for mispronouncing your name at the onset.
Quite all right. I've set people a trap. Gave it to me.
And thank you for your wonderful work, because it's such an interesting, complex play that gives so much food for thought.
Thank you, and I just wanted to remind folks that it's a black comedy, but it is a comedy. So as with Fleabag, we see our foibles and we have a good old time laughing at them.
Yes, so I'd like to thank you for spending time with us this morning.
Thank
Leona.
you so much. Have a good holiday.
Thank you. Bye for now.
Thank you, Barb. Thank you, Barb. That was a really great interview. I have to say, The Good Place is a hilarious show. I won't ruin the punchline for it, but it's a great show. I absolutely loved. Actually, there might be some I haven't seen yet. I think there was like a new release, new season. I'm not sure. I have to look that up. Well, that's our show, though. We are up against the clock again. It's been a wonderful time here today. I really thank anyone for listening. I've been your host here, Nathaniel Newton, and accompanying me has been Barb Gray, our local arts reporter. It's been great. Thanks so much, Barb.
My pleasure. Have a wonderful week, everyone.
Oh, pushed the wrong button. There we go. There we go. It's better to have me talking like, oh, the wrong button, there's the wrong button, rather than dead air.
Yeah, I agree. I did probably fade a bit because I needed to be a bit closer.
It's all good.
Yeah. She's a good interview. I mean, you have to know when she stops that she's not going to continue, and when to ask the next question. So that's something you have to really listen for.
Yeah.
Occasionally I went over, but mostly I got it when I knew she was stopping. And sometimes they continue and they don't need any sort of prompt questions, but she needed them. Like, she was there to be interviewed, if you know what I mean.
Well, there were no long pauses that I've noticed, at least, because I suddenly got I was multitasking and messaging the 10 Constellations whose music I had just played.
Right.
Let them know. I also get like a text communication going for permissions about publishing their video on YouTube and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was a little bit distracted for the first half, which is to mention The Good Place. I'm like, yes, I love that show. Have you seen it or heard of it?
No.
It's another dark comedy.
Yeah. This is a very interesting play.
It's a dark comedy about an afterlife, and it's definitely quite funny.
Well, this one touches on a lot of things. It's very interesting.
FM in Ottawa.
But it's written by a French person, so it gives it a totally different, look at things. Well, I don't know if it's raining out there or not, but it was raining a little bit when I came.
A little drizzly. Let's see.
Well,
Radar says no.
I hope you have a good sleep. I'm not sure if I'll be able to have a rest today before about 10 tonight.
I feel awake now.
Yeah, it awakens you, doesn't it?
Yes, indeed.
It keeps you on your toes and all your adrenaline gets going.
Yeah. Did I turn everything off? Yes, everything is off and in the right place.